So this is my every morning I come in on my page, and this is on Facebook and YouTube together. So for those who are watching the recording later, I speak early and then we go back and we repeat some of this as we go, as people join in. So every single morning I come in as much as I can and I do the energy report of what is happening in the energy today, what we have happening out there in the universal energy, what's affecting us, what's impacting us today, and how we could, how we can gain a new perspective, look at things differently. So good morning to all those who are watching. Good morning, Heather. There we go. I just always make sure I got a comment to make sure we are up. Make sure we're up and we are live. So I wanted to get in this morning. I don't have much time. I have some of my husband's husband. Weird to call him boyfriend. I have some of my family coming to visit today, so I wanted to get in here this morning and get this message out before we start. Good morning, Carlene. Good morning, Missy. So I'm just letting the room fill up. For all those who watch and don't comment, yay, I'm so glad you're here as well. I do feel your energy, and I hope you stay from beginning to end, because the message is a collective message. It is not an individual message. I don't pull individual people in the morning for readings. What I do is I'm reading through the energy, the collective energy that's out there. And so, and we also talk about the cards. Good morning, Christy. Good morning. Haven't seen you in a while. And Don, good morning. Hello. And Stacy, hi. So this morning's energy is, it's definitely a shift from the last few days. So the last few days, we've had this really kind of different kind of energy, I want to say. It was through the full moon. We had the full moon energy. And you heard me speak a lot about, we wait for these moments, these times for these full moons, instead of living in the moment, instead of doing things in the moment. And that those moments, it's like that moon is the exact same moon out there in the universe all the time. Right. And so we were speaking about that. And I'm like, I speak a lot of the coaching work that I do through these morning lives as well. And how we wait for opportunities, or we wait for things to show up. We wait for the right day. We don't let go until this happens. It's like we're always in this waiting game. And well, today the energy is shifted again. And it's what we call the retrograde. And in that moment, it's like, this is like kind of where we pause, where we kind of stand still a little bit and we slow down, we reflect back. So what is coming up for me through that energy, and is that we know that we are, we're witnessing the come through the other side of a huge pandemic, and the fact that people are waiting to return to the way things used to be, and it's not going to. But these times are opportunities. And I said this during every big event I've ever been through, like the Fire and Slave Lake. I'm like, all of those are, who do we become on the other side of that? And the more we try to go back to who we used to be, or we keep returning, or we let negative behavior or old habits slip back in, is that we've missed opportunities to do things better, to do things different, to do things new. And so we're being told to do things new as we're moving forward. How are we going to do something? How are we going to shift that energy and to do things differently than we have done them before? And part of it is to move past, that kind of turning each other into your enemy, your weapons. Like, that's not what we're here for. Christy, holy man, I just felt someone drag on my hair. It was weird. A creepy feeling. I'm being haunted. That is not haunted. That's getting a tug. That's getting a little tug there. That's letting you know. So good morning, Christy. Good morning, Carrie and Tracy and Karen. Good morning, Ashley, Samantha. Good morning, everybody else who's watching, not commenting. Thank you for being here. We are on YouTube and Facebook. So you do not see the people who are on each one of those pages, though. So if you're on my page, then you're seeing the comments only from the people that are on my page. If you're on YouTube, you're only seeing the people who are on YouTube. So I speak to people that are on each that are there. But this is where we are. It's like new. So this is an opportunity during these energies. So June is a bit of a slower month for us. It's a big change. I'm moving again. I'm moving to Sylvan Lake. So I'm very excited about that. Well, a little bit my OCD kicking in a little bit, but but excited. But it's also a June is that, it's almost like it almost feels as if what we are going through, what we are, I'm listening here. So what we feel like we are going through is that this is a time to really stop and pause and think, when things open fully back up, by open up, it means more than the stores opening. When we open back up, we have to look at the people that when we were in our little tizzy, as we call it, when we were in our little spiral, our little fear stories, when we were reacting, and when we were reacting certain ways, or when you were responding and reacting in ways that were not your true self, coming back from that and then opening up. So open up province to province, open up, country to country, like those type of things. It's like how we treat each other. And we turn a blind eye to any of the behavior that wasn't healthy? Or do we say, you know what? We need to take a good look at how we react and how we respond when we are put into these situations. How we go to fear instead of faith, how we go to negativity instead of positive, how we move, how we do some of this stuff, and how we let fear cripple us. And so fear can be a very crippling thing to us within our own self. So I'm telling you, that's in the universal energy. So now you take that universal energy, bring that inward, bring that home to you, and put it in perspective to your life, to inside of your empire, inside of your home, inside of you, of where is fear? Where am I allowing fear to cripple my choices to take advantage of good opportunities, or to be able to create new healthy habits, to move beyond? So some of our habits that we call healthy are not, if they're crippling habits like perfectionism and OCD, or being unwilling. So say there's an opportunity that comes up, like we're allowed to go to events and stuff, but you've become so patterned into, oh no, I got to do this. So you'll say, somebody will call you and say, hey, we're having a gathering, would you like to come? And you'll go, oh no, I cleaned my house on that day. No, that's the day I cleaned the floor, so I can't. So you're going to miss life to clean a floor, right? So you're going to miss an opportunity that's in the moment to embrace the why to humanity is for us to exist and coexist in groups, to be a part of each other's lives, to create experiences and opportunities together. So you're going to miss that to clean the floor. And we don't realize that we've picked up more and more and more and more of that as we've been going on. So that's just an example. So take that into extremes, is that you've allowed fear to lock you inside of your house altogether, and you don't go out at all. And so you're stuck in, and I'm in my house, but I work from here. So it's like, I'm not afraid of the outside world, but you've allowed that fear, and now you're still afraid to go out. Now you've built a whole story and a whole energy, and you've created a whole pile of reasons why you can't go out and have fun, why you can't go gather, why you can't. And so those are things that we need to take a good look at right now and say, is that now, do we have a new level of like trauma response, PTSDs, anxieties and depressions that are holding us hostage again right now, that maybe you didn't have before, or that you were just working through, and now here you are being reactivated. So there's a lot of reactivation that has happened during a pandemic, because most people have been through previous experiences that are traumatic to the body, a shock to the system. And those energies is what we're picking up right now. So we're having a lot of that happen within. And so questioning yourself, right? Questioning, what am I, is this really something to be afraid of, or is this fear? So false evidence appearing real. How many stories have we created around the why, and even repeat them over and over, even write big long stories about them and tell our friends on Facebook and stuff about how life is the way it is and da da da. But how much of it is your truth? And I don't mean the world. I'm not getting involved in that world truth stuff, but what is my truth? What is my personal truth? And to know that your personal truth and who you are at the deepest core, the deepest level of you, requires you sitting with you and saying, who do I need to become? Who and what do I need to become within me now to start to move beyond some of what we've experienced and witnessed? And who do we need to become as a society? Who do we need to become throughout humanity to be able to do something different than we've done it before? Because if we keep putting band-aids on this, if we keep finding temporary solutions, but how many friends and how many family members, how many people that mattered to you prior to this did you lose during a pandemic? Right? During these times of fighting for, you get so on board to fight for strangers, to fight for, government and those kind of people who you don't even know and who don't care about you, but you're willing to lose the people that you care for. Well, now that we're settling back in, what does that look like on the other side? Where do we move beyond this other side? And love, compassion, kindness are huge. We've got such a disconnect, and now reconnecting is huge. Love and light. I've been on this faith train from day one, and I went through probably my worst depression prior to this. I went through my worst depression in writing this freaking book. In writing More Than Existing, I had to relive, and see my own role that I played in some of my worst experiences in my life, and how I had to reflect back on my own actions, my own behavior, and what I was fighting so hard for to get what I wanted, to get my own way. And that was when, and like, it's amazing. More Than Existing came out during a time when we were pushed back into just exist, and to be led into a huge fear story of being afraid and to just exist and to fear death. Well, death is inevitable, right? It's like, and I'm not saying we should have not been cautious. Don't even go there. But it was the fact that when somebody tells us to fear, how it could be so crippling, how when we tell ourselves a story, or we want something so bad that we hold on so freaking tight because we want it so bad, right? And so when you want something so bad, you are just existing in your story. You're not willing to look at another view, another thought, and it's like you only got one objective, and that is to get what you want and how you want it to be. That's what we do. And so during writing More Than Existing, this was before the pandemic, and I went into some of my deepest, lowest points when I had to really look at myself. I spent months sitting in this, and then to have to take out almost half the freaking book just to be able to publish it, because you find out long before we got censored through these places, did I find out that you really don't have freedom. You're not allowed to say how you really feel. You're not allowed to speak about what you really want to say. You're not allowed to say, I was hurt. And so my second book that's in editing right now is Beyond the Reflection. And that actually speaks about, it's okay to say, it's not okay to hold the world and all of your friends and all your family accountable for what's happening to you right now, because we're grown ass adults. We have to put the work in. But it's not okay. It is okay to say what happened is not okay. That behavior is not okay. That the fact that we've spent a lifetime not dealing, like everybody hiding secrets and was not okay. And not saying that we're going to lay blame, but if it's not okay, why don't we fix it? Right? If it really isn't okay, why don't we fix these things? Why don't we stop it so that it's not on repeat again? So where in our lives are we on repeat? And these are things that are coming up in the energy today that is telling us that these are things. And this has been, I'm like rolling out, but it's like this snowball that just every day it just kind of adds on to these stories of where and what we are existing within. And so if your fear stories are going to own you, if the habits that you've created, if everything that you've been doing during this that now you're calling, your new you, is it really your new you, or is it a new trauma response? Is it a new, is it a protective you that you have created? Is it really your truth? Be willing to explore. Be willing to spin your story on yourself. Be willing to look at it differently. Be willing to open your eyes to look at all sides of you, the stories you tell, and hear yourself. I always say some of the word that was when I could hear myself and I'd start to discover things. I'm like, what the hell? And where are you getting that from? Why are you doing that? Where's that coming from? So when I learned to question myself and not lay not instead of blaming people, I questioned myself. And when I started to question myself and what my motives were, what I wanted so bad, what I was holding on to, and I started to also realize I could forgive everyone else, but I couldn't forgive me. I tortured myself. I became my own worst enemy. And you may be doing the same thing. And so finding your way beyond that is a truth that you need to start to look for and start to want to discover with joy, with love, not with criticism, not with judgment. You don't need to judge every experience in every moment. And we need to stop being so judgmental of people and creating identities of people that we don't know. It's amazing. Unless you've shook their hand and spent days and months and years with them, unless you've been with them in person, you don't have a right to judge people. And it's like you're passing a judgment, and like you can judge them, but you can't create an identity about somebody that you read through social media or that you read through news, or because you have an objective view. You have somebody's story and the why behind it. And we see it in all sides of media. I'm not picking a side. I live in the middle road. And so all sides tell their side the story. And there's it's they have an objective behind why they turn people into celebrities, why they turn people into heroes, and why they turn people into enemies. We're always in a story, and we're always existing within a story. And so the why to the objective to why you make somebody out to be the bad person, someone out to be the enemy, why somebody is the good person, why somebody is, it's all part of a story. And the story that you create usually goes to the storyline that provides you the reality that you want to live in, that you want to exist in. And so when we learn to become the hero of our own story, is that we don't, it's not about saying, oh, well, I conquered the whole world and I told them. It's like you start to take ownership and responsibility. You start to look at your own life and your own role, your own behavior, your own actions, what you have done. And then you can own what is yours, and you can set free what is not yours. And you can also say, you know what, that's not okay, but it's not going to control my life anymore. It's not going to own me. And the moment you do that is the moment that you start to set your heart free. There's a joy, there's a beauty, there's a love, there's a centered of self that comes up, as my sister-in-law's call me. There's a center of self that starts to appear, a more balanced you, a more content you, a more peaceful you, a more loving you. Making peace, and it's like it's a more virtuous life. And so the virtues, and I teach about the virtues, and I teach about prayer and all of those things, and I also teach about fairies. Like I don't have I don't have a hardcore view on. I have a more open. I'm here to explore. I'm here to find out more. Tell me more. I want to know more. I want to learn more. I want to know that the world is full of love, and it's full of magic, and it's full of beautiful things. And I also want to know that it's also real, and that the people, a child starving on the street over from me is real. And that's true. I was a single mom for a lot of years. I know all about putting the face on and putting the image on and creating that image of what you think people see, what you want people to see. And and sometimes at some point living in what looks like, I call it the rich poverty. So it looks like you have money, it looks like you're doing well, but in the meantime you're starving to death. In the meantime you can't pay your bills and you're barely getting by. And I know those truths, and I know all of that exists. And so I don't turn a blind eye to that stuff. But I also know there's magic and miracles. And I also know that there is a way back home, and there's a way outside of some of that hope, faith. And once you find your way into that hope and into that faith, you truly start to connect, right? And so you truly start to connect. I don't know where all my messages are gone. And so this is coming back into, if we come back to the center of the cross. So we say, if you come back to the middle road and you look at things from the middle road, if you find that to be your place of peace. And I just finished writing my fifth book called The Way not long ago, and it takes a lot of money to publish all this, but I just finished writing the fifth book, The Way. And in The Way, I'm like, look at yourself at the end of everything and see the person see who it took to have the courage and the strength that you didn't know that you had. That's what we call our innate abilities. And we have that as humanity, to have this innate ability to be able to respond and react based on giving ourselves a pause, stop to think. We've created a whole world around impulsiveness, like that. And I'm a life coach, and I'm not into it. I'm not into you got to do this now kind of coaching. I'm into, does that feel right for you? Do you feel like you need to take some time to think about that? You do know, you just because that's my view doesn't mean that has to be your view. I'm okay that you have a different view. I'll still be here for you. Like, and you don't have to, and letting people be able to breathe through, taking that breath and be able to say, you know what, I may have been in those situations, but I'm not in your situation. I'm not in your shoes. You're in your shoes. So your experience is yours to have, and you are entitled to how you feel in that moment. But you need to own the fact that, it's still your life and you're here to live a much more beautiful life. So don't let that situation own you. Don't let where you are right now own you. Don't let it take ownership of you. Finding your way beyond that really, truly matters. That's the channeled message. That's why. So sorry, I'm not looking at all the comments because I'm channeling through this message. I will now read the comments. Thank you for all being here. Thank you for always being here. I'll pull a card too, but that was the message of today that is channeling through, that's coming through. So, right. What are good ways to disconnect from others' feelings and the collective? Don't own it. Don't own it. And it's not mine. And that's a statement that I use all the time, Stacy. I don't own, it's not mine. It's like I ask myself, is this mine or is this another's? If it's not mine, take it away. And so don't own what is happening. Don't take the world so personal. And once you take the world's not so personal, you don't feel the need to have an opinion about everything. You don't have to let thoughts own you. You don't have to stay in the story so long. It's like if you read something that's a shitty ass comment, don't repeat it 100 times during the day. And so when something is bothering you, hurting you, or you don't, if you run around telling everybody all day long about the shitty ass person that was the asshole on Facebook, and all day long, you're owning that energy all day long. You're owning that all day long. And so you're giving power to the person that you don't want to give power to. The moment that you keep it on repeat, the moment you keep living, the longer you live in it, is that everything you don't want, you keep bringing into your life, and you give the person power. If you don't give it a power, and that's what I said, why do we keep giving bad behavior attention? If nobody gave it attention, if nobody paid attention to it, it would stop. It wouldn't have the following, it wouldn't have the power, it wouldn't have. But the fact that it knows how to gaslight, it knows how to ignite that energy. And if you don't give it the power, it don't own you. And that's the truth. And finding your way into there is a practice. It is about practicing what you want to exist within in yourself, acknowledging it, catching it. And it's like saying no. Like, learn that you have the power to say no to what you let have ownership of you. And the more that you do that, the more that you start to find yourself having more compassion for yourself. Have enough compassion for yourself that you're not willing to sit all day on Facebook and read through all the shit. Right? Like, it's like, have enough love and care enough about yourself that you won't sit all day being involved in somebody else's drama. Go do something that's more caring, loving for you. And that's what makes a difference. Hello, hello, everyone else is joining in. Hi, hi, hi. Thank you for being with me. Got it, Stacy? I hope that helps you. You feel like everything I'm saying today is for you, Christy? Well, that's what I always say. Stay till the end, because it usually is, right? What we hear, what I channel through it's for everybody. And you've been thinking about this as well, Missy? Good. Yeah. I will talk to you later, Lisa. Yeah. No to drama. It's like, yeah, don't engage in it. And I say this time and time again, if somebody is just venting, like as a friend, and they're just venting to you, and then they say something that doesn't feel like, oh, I need to run off and tell so-and-so that, or I need to, why? If you feel you need to run off and tell so-and-so something of that, that's something of your own self that you need to take a good look at. And that's something of your own self that you need to look at. So I remember a few years ago that I had this nasty ass message sent to me from somebody I didn't know. And they sent me this thing saying, oh, I heard you do this, and I don't want you to show up at this thing, and I don't want you to say nothing to my sister, da 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 da. And I'm like, where did you get that information? Because you don't even know who I am. So somebody told you a story. So would you not want to look at the person who tried to do something so mean and say something so mean during a time that was so traumatic to the whole family and to all the people involved, that you would feel the need to reach out to attack me, to come after me because this was said? Would you not want to question the motive behind the person who would spew out such nasty conversation? That would be my first thought. What would be the motive behind something? So I said, number one, you don't know who I am to know that I would never do that, because any messages, anything I do, it's in a session. It's in people working with me, asking me, and I don't do, and I've been friends for a long time with a lot of people who don't even know until this, didn't even know I even did this work. So, and that took my power back. I let it own me for about a couple hours, and then I took my power back. You have to take your power back from those situations by owning who you are and knowing who you are at the core strength of you, so you don't let those moments own you. That's a reflection too. Usually on the other end of that, there's somebody trying to be a martyr. There's somebody trying to fix something inside themselves. And so when people try to make themselves look more than what they are, that martyr energy and that martyr is actually that's actually a behavior, right? And to be the martyr, to be the one who has to tell everybody, I'm always the one who's always there. No one else is always there. I'm always the first one there. I'm always the one to pick up the pieces. If you're the one who's always there, you're always judging everybody else, and you're always reminding everybody that you are the most important person in the world to them, to everybody. And so that when that's happening, you have to explore your own behavior. You have to explore the why behind why that's so important to you, that you will judge everybody else. You'll create stories around it that takes you to there, right? Stay in my own lane. Exactly, right? It's like, stay in my own lane. I'm just trying to message my sister-in-law, the other sister-in-law, to tell her where I am. Boy, I'm not answering her call. Because she's calling. So I hope that helps you guys. And I'm just going to give a card to this. Sometimes it's hard. Oh, you're still human. Good morning, Carolyn. Or good afternoon, I guess, to you guys. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give a quick card, and this is from my deck of oracle cards. So this is from my everyday goddess, and that means the everyday woman, but it's also it's feminine energy, but it also relates to men as well. It's not just for. And so the card that comes out is divine feminine, which is sisterhood, as two of my lifelong friends are in here today, Paula and Carolyn. And I mean lifelongers. We've been together long before life was this way. And so this is divine feminine, and this is sisterhood. And this is about love. It's about support. It's about holding each other up, not being so judgmental, not being so quick to discount and lose the people that matter to us over judgment, over criticism, over an experience, a moment, about knowing the truth to how powerful we are. And if we let our shadow self, if we let our fear run our lives, if we let our fear cripple us, we can lose some of the most important people in our lives. My big why to part of this was that I wasn't willing to lose any more than what I had lost. I wasn't willing to stay being an enemy to myself. I wasn't willing to let a neurological condition own me anymore, where I was even missing out on opportunities to be with friends and to be in a life. And I wasn't letting negative energy keep me away from people that I love so dearly. Was that, you know what? Everybody's in a human experience. Everybody is going through something, and we can't make choices and decisions for people. People have to do that. But it doesn't mean that it's okay for people to spew in. Like, you can have boundaries. There's nothing wrong with having boundaries and to know how much you can give. And then when it's time to say, I'm done, when it's time to put, to surrender and to be able to show mercy. And so a big part about grace also links to mercy. And when you learn, so when I teach virtues and I teach about the virtues and I teach about the power of prayer and meditation, is that you really start to understand things differently. And, prayer, if you have faith, you ask once. And you have faith that in divine timing, how it's meant to be shown to us, how it's meant to be will come. We don't get what we want more than we get what we need, right? So what is that is needed? Hurt people hurt people. That's right. Can't post comments to some destinations. I don't know why that is. There's some weird post that says I can't post in certain, like I can't see some of the comments. So if you're commenting and I'm not seeing it, I'm sorry. There's like some sort of weird little thing going on the bottom screen. So we also have the medicine woman. So we have, I don't know if my pictures are still up. So we have card number 22 for today. Let me find card number 22. I don't know where she is. She's missing. Oh, here we go. We have card number 21 and card number 22, and they're backwards. So that was kind of the energy today, is that with retrograde, it feels like you're going 2 steps ahead or 1 step ahead and 10 steps back. And that's what retrograde feels like to us. Once we step into retrograde, it feels like, and so sometimes it's like, stop trying to make things work that are not right. Really, Don? 22? Well, that card didn't come up by accident today, did it? So this is card number 22. This is Divine Feminine Sisterhood. It explains a lot to me today there, Don. And sisterhood and the power of sisterhood. And look at that, Don. The girl holding up the waves has the dark hair. She kind of looks like you. And so then we also have the medicine woman. And when we know who we are and we know our truth and we're operating from a healed self, from a sense of healed self, not one that has the motives to manipulate or the motive, just knowing that you're not here to, it's like, we might not be able to change the world, but a changed you changes how you view the world. And so this is the medicine woman, really truly, she's rooted in love. She's rooted in the ancestral truth of, what it is, what it is. And there's such truth to that. It's that, what our family lived in, or who they were and what they were in younger years or other years, was so out of our control. But you can't compare people to the roles that they play and who they were back 30, 40 years ago. Because if you do that if you judge everyone else based on that, but you want everyone else to accept who you are today, you need to take a good look at that. Right? If you want people to accept that you've changed or who you are today, then you have to look back at everyone else's role and say, well, they're also not who they were. And how did people get to where they were? And so finding our way into a place of love really means being rooted and grounded and knowing who you are. Love it? Good, Missy. And so also knowing that Marie she's the ultimate level of the middle road. She knows that she can go to those dark places. She knows that she can explore her own behavior, her own actions, but also know that she's a bright enough light to be able to, and that she has enough faith in the light, in what is outside of us, on top of what's inside of us, to have the strength, the courage to know that she can travel there, she can explore her own actions, her own behavior, not to let attitude own her, but to be inspired, to be encouraged, to inspire herself, to be the faith, to be the strength, to be the courage, to be the things that she needs to be today to do the healing that needs to take place. So this is us now being able to discover that if you want to be able to be the change, you also have to be the inspiration. If you want to be the hero to everyone else, try being a hero to you, because the best you that you bring forth brings about the best person to show up, so that sometimes you're not always having to walk in to save the world and then remind people, so that people always feel guilty that you did everything for them. Then you can just be there and just say, hey, you know what? In time, you'll be there for me too. And that's the truth, when we just know. And this is a strong sense of knowing. I work as a mystic. I work as the oracle. I have to trust the all-knowing, not know it all, and to not be so quick to pass opinions, or to be constantly on that opinion train, or that gaslighting, or to feel like, it's like that passive aggressive attacks that we come out with. And so just know that trusting you today really sometimes means explore where you are, where you have been. Is this true? Is this my truth of who I need to be to move forward into the future? And who do I really need to be to be the best version of me that will be in alignment to what love and light represents in myself, in my world, out there. And to know that our loved ones are with us today. Know that we are being embodied in more and more love and light, because from the other side, they always tell me, it's there. It's like, don't forget to live. Don't hold on to that. Like, stop waiting to stop waiting to get to heaven, to be happy. We are here to create heaven on earth. A whole part of more than existing, from first book to last book, is truly about learning to create your heaven on earth. If you're just existing, if you're here to just exist, you're not here doing what you are meant to do. And it's able to more than exist means you're willing to call your own self out on your own bullshit. You're willing to explore life, but you're also willing to live, not live in the fear and be crippled by the fear stories that have held us hostage before. This is our time to embody, to live in love and light, but to know that there is reality out there, and we can't ignore the reality. And no more, we can't keep putting band-aids and temporary solutions. It's time to come full circle. Do the work. Do the work that is needed to be done. I hope this resonates with you today. And have a beautiful day. Much love to each and every one of you. I do have to go. I got friends coming today, family coming today. So much love. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you all. And if you're watching and you're commenting, I can't see them, I'm sorry. There's some sort of like glitch happening. They have a little banner going across the bottom that I can see, and it says can't post comments to some destinations. So there's something going on there that I have to figure out. So much love. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here. And please share away at this. I'm totally okay with these messages being shared out. The more love and light we get into the world, the more love and light we see come back to us. So let's just be the best humans that we can be today. Much love. Bye-bye.